So we have a really special interview today. I'm so excited to introduce you to Jam Swinton. Jam is a recruiter with REA Staffing, and she lives in the Philippines. She's in charge of our candidate screening services and guided searches. And she does a lot of work with people who are looking to hire someone out of the Philippines. So I thought she was the perfect person to get on camera to answer some of the common questions we get around hiring a virtual assistant, specifically somebody from the Philippines. So we're going to go through all of the commonly asked questions, common concerns, and we're going to talk about our process and why what we see as different in our approach to hiring virtual assistants. And we'll share a success story or two. All right, let's get into it. Hi, Jam. How are you?
Good. Hi, Vanessa. How are you doing?
I am good. So, it's funny interviewing you because we talk all the time. Usually, when I'm interviewing somebody, I don't know them as well as I know you. So, I'll try to not make this as interviewee. That would be awkward. But I think it'd be a really great place to start so everyone can kind of be introduced to you. Can you just share a little bit about your background and how you came to become a recruiter at REA Staffing?
Yes, so I've been in the recruiting industry for 4 years now. And after I left my job, I stumbled across your job posting in onlinejobs.ph. And I felt like, hey, this is a great fit. I wanted to transition into real estate. And here I am. I'll be on my second year on February.
Yeah, and you are killing it. Jam is in charge of all of our candidate screening services and guided searches. So she does a lot of work with people who are hiring from the Philippines, which is why we're talking today, but also US based searches through that level of search that we offer. I think one of the things I'd like to start with is just talking about an overview of what it's like to work with a VA based in the Philippines. Like, what should an employer understand before they get into this relationship with a VA who is halfway across the world and in a different country?
Well, a lot of VAs offer wide variety of services. So most of the VAs that we work with, they already have experience supporting an agent in the past, and most of them do have a call center background, so they're already familiar with the US culture and also with the real estate transaction process. So VAs offer listing coordination, transaction coordination, admin support, database management, even appointment setting sometimes, and social media management. So they offer a wide variety of services. All we need to do is really dig in and see what your business helps with and really find that person who is the right fit for you.
Right. And I think that's kind of one of the things that I think sets our service and our approach apart from some of the other VA companies, where we're doing a very deep dive custom search to find the human being who is going to be the
Right.
right overall fit for a business versus, hey, this person can check these boxes, they can do these skills. Here, you can work with this person, which might be fine if you're looking for somebody who's a bit hands off. But I think the kind of candidates that we attract and who our clients really connect with are looking for more of a professional, in-depth relationship. They really want to be part of the
Right.
team. So can you talk a little bit more about the candidates' expectations? Like, what are they looking for in the employer they choose to work with?
Yes, number one is communication. Communication is key. And there are a lot of ways to communicate with your VA. So in the beginning, yes, you really need to meet with your VA to set expectations and really discuss how you want things to be done in the office. And also, you can use Slack, WhatsApp, Viber, Zoom, any platform of your choice. And aside from communication, they expect you to provide clear instructions on how they can do their daily work. And also, they expect you to provide feedback, say they're doing a great job and they're killing it, right? And also, um, provide feedback on things or areas that would need improvement. So it can really foster a great relationship between the client and the VA.
Right. And I think a lot of what you're saying it ties exactly into what, if you're hiring somebody who is sitting in your office, if you're looking for a full-time dedicated employee, they expect the same things. I think what's
Right.
challenging with a virtual employee, and we work in a virtual environment. So for us, this is very natural, but I can imagine if you're used to having somebody sitting next to you and they hear you on the phone and they could just extrapolate from what you said and do it, you don't have to say anything to them, and you're used to that. Changing your behavior and actually communicating with your assistant and telling them, hey, I had a conversation with Joe. This is what happened. I need you to do X. If you don't do that, your assistant doesn't know what's happening. So you
Right.
have to be willing to take that step. Now, we've had clients who have a video conferencing kind of like running in the background so that the admin can hear what's happening. Or they're in their for the clients or the agent's email, or they can see their texts because they're on Google Voice or something. So there are ways to integrate them into the flow of communication, even though they're not physically in the office. But that is really, really key. I think the other thing that people are really concerned about when we think about, at least when I'm talking to prospective clients about this process, is okay, so they're halfway around the world. Are they working my hours? Like, what about language issues? So talk about some of those sort of fundamental concerns that people have.
Yes, so there is really a time zone difference, and it's big, right? The Philippines is 16 hours ahead of California, but the good thing is your VA can work US hours, and we are all used to that, including myself. I've been working nights and weekends since 2012, and I feel like most VAs that we work with, they are okay with that setup, and they're more than willing to work a graveyard shift. In terms of communication, that's not going to be a problem because English proficiency rate in the Philippines is high, and English is even the second official language of the Philippines. So books, magazines, road signs, and even our constitution, they're all written in English. So communicating with clients is not going to be an issue at all.
Right. And I mean, I find that a lot of our VAs write better English than a lot of our US based candidates. It's a very high English proficiency. I mean, nobody would know, Jam, that you were raised in the US by reading what you write. I mean, it's flawless. And same with Sess, our other recruiter from the Philippines, and a lot of our candidates. So really, it's not an issue. Let's kind of talk about, are there any cultural differences that people should be aware of or be sensitive to? Or, yeah.
Yes, I can think of some. So Filipinos are familiar with the culture of the US given their call center background or having worked with an international client. But one thing when I was starting, one thing that I learned is that in the American culture, you call them by their first name. And in the Philippines, when somebody has a higher position than you or is even older than you call them ma'am or sir, which is a little bit awkward when I was starting, but I got the hang of it and, just call people by their first name. But I think it's very important for VAs to know that if it is a doctor, then you have to really, you know, call them by their title. So it's a thing that we learn here in the Philippines as well.
And what about on the other side, as Americans, as an employer who wants to be respectful of the culture and the values of the person I'm employing, what should Americans be aware of so that we can be better humans and employers?
Well, in the Philippines, there is a tight-knit family culture. So we really value and respect elders, and we are religious, and also we really have a high commitment with our family. And so one of the things that we try to look for is a stable job that can help us support our family and really achieve personal and financial growth as well.
Right. So making sure you're paying people on time and paying them fairly and honoring your commitments. And I mean, I think we found that when you do that, there's very little turnover. I think, like you said, you guys really do seek stability. I mean, we're generalizing, but it tends to be a common theme versus somebody in the United States who might be your same age, who might flip through jobs pretty quickly. there's probably a better chance if you're provided growth and stability that you're going to stay. Is that a fair
Right.
statement? Okay.
That's correct.
I want to go back to the hours thing because I know this is really hard for a lot of people to wrap their head around. So if you're working from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m., when do you sleep? And how does that give you work-life balance when you're working when everyone else is asleep?
It is different and it's hard because sometimes your health is also compromised, but you really have to work on, your health and do exercise and eat healthy and get enough sleep. It's the same thing other than you're going to be sleeping in the day, which is awkward and a little bit different, but that's all right. We are used to doing that. So if someone has an 11 to 7 p.m. shift, typically they sleep 11 in the morning or even at noontime. And so they wake up in the evening and start their shift. And it's pretty much the same thing, I guess. And we're okay with
Okay,
that.
cool. So let's talk about what can a virtual real estate assistant do and not do. You mentioned some of the tasks, but is there anything else that like just couldn't expect your assistant to do that you should be aware of, and things that people might not have considered that their assistant could do for them?
Yeah, sure. So you can expect your VA to really take things off of your plate and really help your business grow. But there are activities that they cannot do, especially those tasks that would require them to be physically present, and also activities that would require a real estate license, right? So what your VA can do is to coordinate with a local person or a service maybe to handle things like running errands or maybe delivering items. Other things that they can do, but some are trained, are content writing and SEO. So I have interviewed some candidates who have, you know, experience doing copy for their clients, but it's rare that we find someone who checks all the boxes. That's why we do a custom search to really find the right fit for what they're looking for.
Perfect. So let's talk about our process. So if somebody says, okay, I want Pro.RE.A to help find a VA, what does that process look like?
Yeah, so first, what we do is to schedule a launch call with our client to really discuss what they're looking for, what are the hours, how much are they willing to pay, and exactly what is the skill set that they need. And then after that, we create a custom job description that we post in one of the job boards here in the Philippines. So it is called onlinejobs.ph. And then we get resumes. So I am responsible for reviewing the resumes that come in and really screening from the back end. And I'm going to submit the top 10% of those resumes to the client for feedback. And so if they like someone and if they're, interested to consider or explore this person further, then we do a phone interview and I handle those as well. So that costs $85 per interview. And then I send transcribe notes to the client. So what I do is I type their responses verbatim, and then I send my professional recommendation on what happened within the call, how is their communication skills, things like that. And then they have the option to proceed with a video interview, and that is handled by our senior account manager, Erin. So the video interview has a disc and a skill assessment in it, and it costs $300. But there are some clients who opt to go straight to the client interview. And while it is okay, some clients really wanted us to do the screening and do the video interview to really vet the candidates.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, if they like that person and they're interested to explore them further, we move them to the client interview round where we schedule a Zoom or maybe a meeting via Google Meet and discuss. What I normally do is to have them do a behavioral interview, and that includes disc validation and also really talking about a day in the life on how it will look like if you're going to be hired as a VA. And then we recommend that clients meet with their VAs multiple times. And so we schedule another Zoom meeting, and that is their alignment conversation. So this conversation is very important. We don't want clients to skip this part because this is where they set expectations and really uh, discuss their house rules and such. And this is where you discuss the offer letter terms. So if everything goes well and they really want this person, then we also offer drafting a contract for them, and that's the offer letter package. So that costs $450, includes one revision, and I can really help them, really dig in and discuss what terms should be included in the offer, how much are you gonna offer, and what benefits are included. And another thing that we offer is a reference check. So we call their previous supervisors or their previous clients and ask for any recommendation on how they did in their previous positions, and that costs $50 per references.
Perfect. And I think it's worth stepping back to just kind of talk about our philosophy, right? And like what we're looking for. So we have a philosophy that we call JCG+T, which stands for job fit, culture fit, goal fit plus talent. And basically, like every great hire must be a fit in all four of these areas. They have to be a good fit for the job. They have to be a culture fit, which means they share values with the company. Their goals, their personal, professional, and financial goals have to be aligned with the company. And then they have to be the right kind of talent. They need to have the right natural abilities and the intrinsic motivation to thrive in the role. So every step we guide our client through this hiring process is designed to make sure we're checking all the boxes and validating that this person is a fit in all of these areas. And I think one of the things that we do really well, that we've really cultivated, is guiding our client who typically doesn't have a lot of hiring experience. This might be the first time they've been through this process, or they haven't done it well in the past. But we're going to really hold their hand, give them guides on how to have this conversation, what questions to ask in the second interview, what skill tests you might want to give them, and how to structure that, and what should that look like. And you have a lot of conversations with clients about, okay, so I have this concern. How important is this? What should I do next? How much weight should I put into this thing? And we do guide them through the whole process, so that when they get to the end and they sign that agreement, like we have clients who come back like jumping for joy. They're like so excited. They can't believe they found somebody halfway around the world who is such an amazing fit, who gets it and is just like contributing to their business on such a big level. And it's such a fun process to go through with people, right? To kind of take them from, oh my gosh, I'm nervous and I want an assistant, but like, how do I do this, to, oh my gosh, I have this person in my business and it's amazing. So it's super fun. And I know clients just rave about working with you, Jam. They absolutely love like your kind heart and how you get them through the process. One thing we haven't talked about yet is salary. Like, what should people expect to pay? And again, I think this is one of the things that makes us a little bit different in our approach. So do you want to talk about salary expectations?
Yes, so the VA salary ranges from $1,000 to $1,500. Of course, that's depending on experience, but there are clients who have offered higher than 1,500, so let's say 1,600 to 1,900, but that's for super high level VAs. And as for the benefits, we typically advise clients to offer 10 days of paid vacation and also paid US holidays, right? And should I talk about the sick days? I know it's not addressed in our contract, but I wanted to talk about that so that clients are aware on how we deal with sick days as well.
Yeah.
So the sick days are not specifically addressed in the contract, but the way we deal with sick day is if you are sick then and you can't work, then of course you can take a sick day. We understand that people get sick, and however, if you're not meeting the objectives of the job and if you are missing too much work, then it's safe to say that you are not going to be a great fit for this client. And of course, for the next steps, what we advise clients to do is to, of course, speak with their VA first and really talk about things. Why are they missing work? And then it can be a cause for termination if really the VA is not going to be the right fit. So that's one thing that I just really wanted to discuss with clients since they're also concerned with how sick days work in the Philippines. And also the optional benefits that we offer would be the medical stipend. So what the medical stipend is, it's an amount that is on top of the VA salary. So say they would give the VA $50 that would go towards the health insurance of their choosing. They can do that. And some clients also offer Philippine holidays. So the number of Philippine holidays that you can offer really depend on your discretion. Say you wanted to give this VA 5 Philippine holidays and it's paid. So that's also okay. And lastly, some clients offer 13th month pay. So 13th month, what that is, it's a month's worth of salary, usually given in December, and it's equivalent to a Christmas or a holiday bonus in the US.
Yeah, perfect. And to clarify, this 1,000, 1,500 is per month. And so it's like they're on a salary basis. That's for 40 hours a week. Usually paid twice a month, like every 2 weeks. And because your assistant is not in the US, you are not responsible for their taxes.
Right.
There's really no paperwork that you need to fill out. They are responsible for taking care of their own taxes, and it's simply a business expense write-off for you. So there's no additional expense. Like if you were to hire someone in the US, then you have to deal with taxes on top of that. Okay, let's see what else. Do you have a favorite success story? Let's end there.
Well, I remember this one VA that I hired. So I interviewed her and she was really nervous. And after the call, I just went ahead and talk to her and discuss whether her areas of improvement and how we can nail the other interviews that she's going to have. And so she applied to one client and she reached the final interview round. However, the client decided to hold the search for now because she's still not ready financially. And so we waited. We waited for the right moment. And so I had another client who was looking for a VA and they met and it worked. I mean, the client really liked her. And on her second day, I received an email and even a video from the client, which was amazing. And she was really commending this VA that, hey, she really did this amazing thing in one of our checklists, and she caught a mistake and I think it's a typo in the email address, and I was just really proud because it's just her second day and she's really killing it and knocking it off the park.
Awesome. Love it. Well, thank you, Jam. So great to get to see you and chat with you about one of our favorite subjects, helping people find the right assistant. If you guys want more information on this whole hiring a VA process, I'm going to leave some resources in the description below. Jam has written a couple of blog posts on this process, and I'll include that. And then I interviewed another team in the US who did a really good job of integrating their virtual assistant into their business to the point where they have them on a computer screen in their meetings. So it's a really good interview. So if you're looking for more of like practical implementation, what does that really look like? That's a great interview, and I'll include that below. And if you are ready to hire, obviously we'd love to chat. You can schedule a meeting with one of our recruiters to start the process. All right. Thanks, Jam.
Thanks,
Cheers.
Vanessa.